Doing good. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. I'm gonna tell you that my week has been a little, I don't know. It's been kind of a little bit down. I've been feeling a little bit down. I don't know what it is. It's just been kind of like an off kind of week. Sometimes we have those dips where it's just a struggle to get out of bed sometimes, or you just feel like, man, what am I doing with my life? I don't know. I was having one of those days, and so just thinking about this upcoming year. I really hope it's going to be a great year, and some potential projects are coming down the pipeline right now. And so I'm just really excited about what to look forward to, not only working on other people's projects, but some of the things that I want to bring to life. I think this is the year. 2025 is when I start bringing some of my own projects to life, and I'm really excited about it. And as I was thinking about that this morning after just driving in traffic or whatever, and I was thinking, God, I wonder if I should share some of the set stories that I've had. And I'll start off with this, you guys. Every set is different. Every set has its own kind of vibe. Sometimes it's super serious, sometimes it's super funny, sometimes it's like out of control, sometimes it feels like, are we getting paid to do this? Hold on, let me turn my car off real quick. I can hear the engine. We're getting paid to do this? Like, what the hell? And then sometimes I see some really cool stuff where it's just like, whoa, I can't believe like I just got to experience this, and then there's days where I'm just like, why did I show up to set? So I was starting to kind of like figure out, okay, all right, let me just think about some things that happened on set that were kind of memorable. And I was only like, I think maybe a few projects in, and I already had a list of like 10 different things. And so I'm like, okay, we could turn this into like a 3-part series or something like that. And maybe I'll just share a couple of stories that happened on set and kind of just take it from there. And we'll see how it goes. And if you guys want more stories, let me know. But I want to tell you the first story of something that happened on set, which was, I won't tell you which films, because some of these things I probably can't, I'm not supposed to talk about. So, but it'll just say it was a set that I worked on that was one of my early projects. And I didn't really know, like, should I be doing this type thing? It really was something interesting where I'm like, wait, what? Okay, so let me just set it up. So there was a horror film that we were working on, and there's a lot of scenes with a chainsaw, and there's a real chainsaw on it. And then when we shot other parts of it, they took it off and put a fake one on there. And so when it spun fast enough, it looked real. So, but it was kind of a real chainsaw that they would put the prop onto it and then take the prop off and put it on when we want to get some close-ups of it. And it was really cool, really super cool. And I remember that one day we were shooting some scenes with that chainsaw, and I I don't know if I look like someone that I've handled a chainsaw or something, or I'm just look confident enough to handle something. But for whatever reason, that prop master had to leave that day. And so he had to leave early, like halfway through the day. And so they were kind of showing me, this is how you take off the fake one. This is how you put the real one on. I'm like, okay, I can manage that. I was like, no worries, I could do that. And then a little later, they're like, okay, we need you to put the real one back on. So I put the real one back on, whatever, test it, worked fine. It had like a protector and a guard or whatever. So it was legit. And so I got that chainsaw, and then they said, okay, come to us to the house that we're shooting in, and this wall right here, we need you to push the saw through and then come down. And on the other side of that wall, they're filming it with the actress there. And I'm like, you want me to do this? They're like, yeah, like you got it, right? And I was like, yeah, I got it. I was like, what the hell? They want me to punch a hole through a wall with the chainsaw that I've never used in my life before. And I said, maybe I should actually do some practice takes somewhere. So I actually went to another room, and there was some drywall, whatever. They're like, you could test it right here. So I was like, okay, let me test it. And I was like, have this massive chainsaw, and I'm like, okay, how do I push this through the wall, whatever. So anyways, after a couple of tests and whatever, and I'm like sweating, like just crazy sweating. I'm just like, whatever. So anyways, they call me up. They're like, all right, we're ready for the shot. This is where we want you to stand. This is where we want you to punch the hole through. La, 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 walk me through it. I was like, okay. And so all I hear is, I get ready for it, right, dude? I'm like sweating and I'm just kind of nervous. And they're like, okay, and action. And then I hear the actors start screaming, and they're all, what did they say? I don't know. I don't remember how they called for me. I don't know if they said chainsaw or something, right? So she started screaming, whatever, and then, oh no, they gave me a beat count, like wait, 1, 2, 3, and then go. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what it was. So I hear a scream, and I just go, bam, and go through and literally just jam that thing into a wall and bring it down as far as I could until it hit towards the bottom of the wall. And then I hear, and cut. And I was just like, did we get it? Did we get it? Did we get it? And they were like, hell yeah, we got it. So I was really excited, right? On this same film, later on, kind of towards the end, the last day of principal shooting, I don't even remember how I became the first AC pulling focus for that day. I don't really remember. I don't know if something happened or they had me do it, which that wasn't like something that I was the greatest at, but I just kind of did it. And so there was a scene with a flamethrower, and it was pitch black. I mean, it was so dark. We were out in the desert. It was so dark that you couldn't really see anything. But when that flame hit, it was like, boom, it lit everything up. Well, imagine trying to take focus on that when you can't even see the person until the flame ignites or whatever. So anyways, the shoot was going on, and I had to leave that day. I had to go back home because I had something else somewhere else I needed to be that next morning. And so we're doing a couple of takes, and I think we were running out of propane and stuff too. And I was just like tired. And I just said, you know what? I got to go, guys. This is like an hour after I was supposed to leave. And I handed over the focus wheel to someone else, and they did one take, and it didn't happen. They didn't like it. They're like, David, get back over here and do this. And I was like, okay. So then we go like, one last take, let's go. And then bam, we got the shot. And so I still have never seen this shot. I can't wait to see it. But I just remember, I'm like, this is some crazy stuff. Like the other day I was using a chainsaw. The other day we flipped a car. It was just the coolest stuff I've ever seen in life. In real life, I was like, what the hell? So those are some things that happened on that set. So I want to share something that happened to, that's a little bit, I have to make sure to not say any names or say the project, because this was kind of I've had very few negative experiences, but this one I was actually really surprised what happened on set. And so it was a project that I got called on to. I only worked one day on that project. For some reason, when I showed up as an AC for like a third unit or something like that. And when I got there, there was a whole new crew, like a whole new camera crew, which I've never seen that. It's usually, maybe an AC or maybe an operator, but there was 3 ACs for 3 different cameras, and all the ACs were brand new. That was our first day. We were all looking around like, why is there so many new ACs on this project? Like, it was kind of strange, right? That doesn't really ever happen. And so we kind of just said, whatever, we got started. They're like, here's the cameras, whatever. We just got started. And so this was probably maybe 2 years into my career of working on films already. So I was a little more comfortable and whatever. Like I said, I was on the C camera, which is mostly like insert shots or whatever, or if the other 2 teams were working on something, they would send us to go film something else. And so we were just kind of like that team, right? So it was cool. But the story I want to share is, this is the first time I've ever seen, I don't even want to share this because I'll probably get in trouble, but it's the first time I've ever experienced, I've worked on so many projects that everyone was amazing. The directors, producers, the actors, I feel so blessed that I worked on so many projects that were just so, even though they may be intense And even though we're pushing deadlines and things like that, like we enjoyed working together. So this was only about 15 minutes in. We got the cameras, we moved them onto set to where we were shooting, and we shot this one scene. And like I said, I was cam C, so I was just kind of in the back waiting for whatever we need to shoot, which we were going to shoot after they left. We were going to do all the insert shots for that scene, you know, so that they can cut it later. But for some reason, everybody like moved on. Everyone kind of moved on to like another shot that was supposed to happen, but we weren't done there, I guess. Apparently we weren't done there, because one of the directors, and I don't know if he wasn't the director, he was one of the producers, but he was helping direct this shot, because I don't remember what happened that day. There was some stuff going on set. I just remember that he was helping to run that. And so everybody left, and when I don't know if he was on his phone or something, and he looked up and everybody's gone. And he was like, where the F did everybody go? What the? So one of the guys I've worked with on other projects, he's like, did you want us to move something? Did you want the camera? And this is what happened. He's like, I want this effing camera right here. And I don't understand why everyone, he just lost it on us. And and my buddy's like, okay, whatever, we'll move the camera. And he just ranted for like 15 minutes. And I'm standing there and I'm like, this is a whole new crew that just showed up. And I was like, I wonder if this is why there's a whole new crew, because everyone probably quit. And I don't know if that's true. I did hear some things later, like a year later, about what possibly happened on that set, where it was just hard to keep people on it. But I know that was the first time that I was literally shocked with somebody losing their mind on set, screaming and cussing, and at us too, you know. And we're just like, we just showed up, but I guess he just needed someone to let it out. So and that's not typical, but I did want to share that kind of opened my eyes to when you experience different directors, different producers, and then you have, that was the first and probably only one I could think of that ever had like an ego. And it was really just crazy to see that. It wasn't called for, you know. We could have just been like, move the camera, cool, we got it. You want this? Cool, we got it. Like, it wasn't a big deal. We could have taken care of it. And even moving the cameras took like 2 minutes, and then we're like, okay, let's go. And then we had to wait 30 minutes to get everybody back on set, which he was steaming by then. So in certain respects, it was kind of funny. It was shocking at first, but then it was kind of funny, like, God, how frustrated are you in life to have to let that out here, you know? And so it's not that big of a deal. I guess it is a big deal. Everything on a film set is a big deal, and it's all filled with time sensitivity. And so I get it, trust me. But I just felt like, wow, what the heck? What the heck just happened? And I even remember when I went home that day, I was like, I don't really know if I want to even come back to this project. That's the only time, well, I can't say that. It's happened before too, but I always came back to the project, even when I didn't want to. Except for one where I was just like, you know what? It was there were some things that were going on that I just felt like were really, I didn't feel good about. And so I was like, nah. So after like 10 days, I was like, I'm good. I have another project. And that's kind of what happened. But this one, later on that night when I was driving home, they called me to tell me that they're gonna go back to one camera because it just wasn't productive for that day. It was taking too long. When you have multiple cameras, it has some complexities. It can work certain ways, but if people are moving, if the action is moving, sometimes having multiple cameras for the angle that you need, like, you get into each other's way. So you end up shooting it again anyways. And so they didn't feel it was productive to have a third camera. So that's when they just told me it's okay. And that's fine. And I didn't go back, and I was just like, no biggie, right? Another thing that I wanted to share with you that I thought was really crazy on set. First of all, we shot in a castle, and I'm not going to tell you the project, but it was a place called Rubel Castle in Glendora. I think it was in Glendora, and we were shooting a film there. Multiple areas. Hold on, let me make sure this thing doesn't. Multiple areas around that property, which was so cool. It was like a castle. You can Google it. It was like a castle. It had a tower where we shot in. It had like these areas that they built out that looked like dungeons. It also had like stuff in the walls, like cars and motorcycles. A really interesting story. We didn't shoot any of that, but it looked really, really cool. And that project was actually really fun. I learned a lot on that set. But what happened was, it was the first time I experienced getting shut down. So the film got shut down because of something so trivial, something so trivial. So this place had an area for us to park, and then we also had to park on the street, you know, down the street, so that we didn't create an issue for the community, which was fine. We knew that. But for some reason, on this day, we shot there for a couple of days. On this day, one of the actor's friends, I don't think he was an actor. It was like an actor's friend or something, parked right next to the castle, blocking somebody's driveway. And it was really small. I remember the drivers were really small. So like, I don't even know how you fit a car there, but I don't know if he did that to run in and drop something off, or I don't really remember what happened. All I know is police showed up. And so they called the cops. Police showed up about the complaint. They talked with the producers or whatever. And for whatever, I'm not gonna get into details because I wasn't there. I was kind of from afar, so I don't know what the conversations were like. All I know was because of that, they shut down production. And we had like a couple more days that we had to shoot there. And so prior to us shooting there, we had shot at like a studio, some of the scenes in a studio, and then we came there to shoot some of the exterior shots and capture kind of like that castle essence. And they shut us down, and it was just like, and they were kind of, the cops were kind of cool, right? Because they were trying to shut us down now, like shut everything down, and everything's on the property, which was even weirder. It wasn't like we were shooting on the street. We were inside a gated property shooting on their property. And for whatever reason, they were like, no, you need to shut it down. And I know the director got involved. He's like, we have all of this stuff. Like, what's the issue? And he's like, if you do not shut down, then we'll shut you down. And then they'll bring in, you know, obviously more police or whatever. And we were just kind of like all kind of shocked and stunned, like, what the hell's going on here? And so they told us, okay, you guys can finish shooting until I think like 4 p.m. And it was like 2 o'clock already. They're like, you can finish shooting, finish your day or whatever, and then you guys need to be gone. And then they weren't allowed to go back. And I think eventually they did go back. I wasn't part of that. They went back to finish some of the scenes. But man, it was a mad scramble. Like, so where before they took a little bit more time, okay, let's get this shot, let's let's reset. It was like, go, like, get it done, get it, boom, move to the next area, get it done. And it was like, instead of having maybe 5 or 6 takes, it was like 2. And if the director was like, got it, move, we just, boom, mad scramble to move everything. And so it was it was freaking crazy. But that by far was like one of the coolest sets I worked on. That wasn't a set. It was somebody's freaking castle. It was a real, you can look it up. It's called Rubel's Castle in Glendora. It was a real place. And it just felt, it felt like you're transported back on time. That's why I realize now when actors say when they step onto a set, you know, like a Star Wars set or something, you step on it and you're just like, oh, I'm in this world. I'm in that world. That's exactly what it felt like. And I wasn't even on screen. I was just helping with camera. I don't think I pulled focus. I think I was just an extra hand, a second AC. And so, but I felt like I was transported back in time, you know? And so it was really, really fun experience, sprinkled with some cool shots, sprinkled with some guillotine shots that they had set up. Another story real quick before I let you go. It was for the movie Guillotine. This one I could say which one it was on. It was a great movie. The guillotine, we had to move it from where the stage was at to somewhere around the back of the property. And nobody had anticipated that. No one had anticipated that we'd have to move something that huge, right? After they built it there. And we ended up finding like this massive wheelbarrow type thing that like horses, I guess horses would, like a carriage kind of something like that. but you can hold the two arms. It was just massive to put like a bunch of hay. It would take at least 3 people to move it. And somehow we figured out how to put that onto that thing. And with like 8 of us picked it up and like moved it across the property. And I remember at some point I did see some video of somebody was standing on it, like whipping and shit while we were all like running with it. And it was just this massively heavy guillotine, fully built guillotine that we were moving around set. So, all right, guys, those are my 3 set stories. I hope you like them. I'll share some more. If you like them, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And if you have any stories, feel free to share them. And then I think I'm going to share some more because I have so many. So anyways, all right, guys, have a great day. I got to get back to work. We'll talk to you later, all right? Have a good one. Bye.